Hi, everyone. Greg Strikechin from Avid here, and I'm so excited to be with you today for this world premiere with our friends at Noise Engineering. Now, we're going to jump into it in just a minute, but before we do, a little quick backstory. So many of you know I'm an electronic music producer myself. I produce house, techno, ambient, and I love instruments. I love synthesizers, drum machines, have been collecting them and using them pretty much my entire life. But of course, as technology progressed, I transitioned into an in-the-box workflow. I use Pro Tools for everything from top to bottom. Everything I write, everything, arrange, record, mix, master, everything in Pro Tools. Now, of course, over the past few years, I started missing my hardware, started missing some of my synthesizers and drum machines. So I started incorporating that back into my music creation, and it's been a lot of fun. I wanted to take it a step further, and Eurorack modular synthesis is something I was really interested in, but had never really played with. So a few years ago, a good buddy of mine, Matt Lang, an amazing electronic music producer and DJ himself, was a guest of ours at NAMM, and I kind of was talking to him about it, and he said, "Yeah, let me walk you through it." So we took a little break after one of our main stage demos at NAMM, and Matt took me down to the Eurorack modular section of NAMM, which is really amazing. If you ever get the chance to check it out, make sure you do. And introduced me to that world and allowed me to kind of get my hands on and listen and play around for a bit. The first company he introduced me to was a company by the name of Noise Engineering, led by the wonderful duo of Chris Kaiser and Stephen McCall. The first module I ever got to get my hands on and touch and play with was one called Aquatic Eteritas, and it ended up being the first module I bought for my system back here. Now I've got a few more Noise Engineering pieces in my rack today, and continue loving what they do and continue to follow them, and we've become really good friends. So over the past couple of years, we've been talking about, just would there be any possibility of any kind of partnership, something we could do that might be kind of cool between Noise Engineering and Avid. And we finally did something. So without further ado, I'd like to jump into what that partnership actually is. Now, we're going to meet Chris and Steven and the rest of the team here. But before we do that, here's a little bit about Noise Engineering and who they are.
Noise Engineering is a modular synthesizer company based in Los Angeles, California, and run by chief noisemaker Stephen McCall and me, Chris Kaiser, the doer of many things. We are best known for our digital modules with Latin-ish names that create unique sounds. Stephen and I met in 2007 and married a few years later, but we were both in different careers back then. I was a tropical biologist studying bioacoustics and gone for months at a time. Stephen was an audio programmer in the game industry. Noise Engineering started around 2014 as a hobby, as mostly a tactile distraction for Stephen. In 2016, we quit our jobs and took Noise Engineering full-time together. Stephen is still the chief software engineer, and I design most of the hardware. Our team now includes Marcus, our chief of destruction, Ankur, our lead singer, and Norman, our director of chaos. But we're a small team, so we all wear a lot of hats around here. At Noise Engineering, we strive to explore new and interesting ideas in synthesis. We want to make fun products that inspire creativity, products we want to play with. We spent years developing characteristic Noise Engineering sound and synthesis algorithms that we're so excited to bring to plugins. Now, no matter what your medium, in software or hardware, anywhere in the world, we have tools for you.
All right. Welcome. Great to see everybody here, safe and sound. Hello to everyone here from Noise Engineering. Now that we know a little bit more about who you all are, I figured maybe we'll just do a quick little round of introductions. We'll start with Chris and Steven.
Hi, thanks for having us. It's great to be here. I'm Chris. I'm the doer of many things. We're small enough, so I do a lot of things. I am primarily in charge of making the hardware here.
Awesome.
I'm Steven. I primarily work on software and some hardware and the weird interface between the two. But most of, say, the DSP is my realm, as well as the pure software such as we are talking about today.
Beautiful. Marcus.
I am Marcus. I am the chief of destruction here. I do pre-production testing as well as art and a variety of other things.
You're also the blog master, are you not?
I am. I do a lot of writing for our blog and other content that we do.
Beautiful. And Core.
Hi, I'm Ankur. I'm the junior software engineer here, and I help develop modules and some of our web tools.
Beautiful. And Norman.
Hi, I'm Norman. Thanks for having us today. I am the director of chaos here at Noise Engineering. I have a bit of a split role, so I handle a lot of the business side because somebody's got to do that, and then also social media and some graphic design.
Awesome. Well, again, we're so thankful to you guys. We're so grateful to have you all here. I know we're going to get into really what the announcement is now, but wanted to make sure everyone saw everyone's faces and give you guys a chance to say hello. So thank you very much. And let's jump right into the next bit. So we're here with Chris, Stephen, and Marcus from Noise Engineering. So guys, tell us a little bit about your modules. What genres typically are your modules used in?
Our modules really run the gamut. People from DJs to producers to composers and really everything in between really like our stuff. So I wouldn't say that we're really pigeonholed into any particular genre. I think we can really, no matter what type of music you're trying to do, you can probably find something in our lineup for you.
So, you guys had a really busy year in 2020, a lot of module releases, including some effects. You guys are constantly working. Obviously, you don't have a very large team, but what else have you been up to? I mean, obviously, we're here, we're talking about this, partnership with Avid and Noise Engineering. What does that mean exactly?
Sure. So previously, we'd put out rack extensions for Reason, and that was a really fun foray into software for us, and we knew that we wanted to do more. And so with this announcement, we are moving into the plugin world.
Awesome. Well, we are so excited. You guys are a famed, beloved Eurorack modular company. What actually drove you into the idea of creating plugins? I mean, you're very well known as a hardware, as a modular company, but what drove you guys to doing plugins?
A lot of it was just talking to customers and wanting to meet our customers where they are. We've talked to so many people that are either have a hard time traveling with Eurorack or just really want the immediacy of being able to work within a DAW and still have the noise engineering sound. We worked a long time to really get the noise engineering sound. And so being able to make that portable and recallable and workable in a DAW was a really important thing to a lot of our customers. I mean, again, working with the Reason stuff was really fun for us. So moving into plugins was really a no-brainer for us.
Well, I can't tell you how excited I am. I mean, I'm a big fan of your guys' work. The first module I ever bought was Liquelica Territas, and it's still my favorite module to this day, and my baby over here. Having, the thought of having, plug in the feel and sound and look of Noise Engineering in my DAW in Pro Tools is amazing to me. Of course, I travel quite a bit as well. I don't really travel with my kit. So that that sounds absolutely amazing. So thinking about all of that, why don't we just actually get into what the new plugins are? So here we go.
So the three plugins we have are Cursus Verior, Basilis Iteritas, and Dismodus. So the Cursus Verior is based on our Cursus Iteritas oscillator module with the dynamic section from the Ampliversio. The Basilis Iteritas is based on our popular Basilis Iteritas Alter module, and the Dismodus is based on our flagship reverb, the Dismodus Versio. We designed these first and foremost to be fun. We want you to enjoy playing with sound and enjoy playing with our plugins because, honestly, that's why we're all here. It's just a fun thing to be able to work with and play with new sounds. They're really powerful and they come with a lot of presets. The Basilis Iteritas and Cursus Verior both come with over 1,000 presets, and the Dismodus comes with over 500. All the parameters are really straightforward to use, and they're designed to be automated as well. So the Cursus Verior is a melodic synth. It can really be used for pads, leads, basses, anything you really want to. It can run the gamut from pretty to aggressive. The parameters on there are kind of unusual. And again, they're designed to be automated. These are all inspired by modules, so they're meant to be played with. And the parameters on there can really transform your sound. So if you have something pretty, it's really easy to just draw a line, make it aggressive within the project. And while the sound design parameters are really unique and kind of new, the dynamic section is based on an ADSR envelope that you'll be familiar with, and that envelope can also be routed to a resonant filter for your more standard harmonic shaping. And the Curses Vario will really fit into anything, whether you need a melody line or an abstract atmospheric sound or a bass. So Basimilis Iteritas, first and foremost, is a percussion synthesizer, although it can do a lot more than that. Not to brag, it sounds really cool. It's been a staple in our systems for a long time, as well as many other people's. It's a 6-operator additive FM synth, and while that may sound complicated, the parameters are designed to be really easy to use so you can make great sounds without really worrying about what's happening under the hood. It's really good for anything with synthetic percussion, although it can do more than that. It's good for anything with low end, it has a lot of sub, and it can do percussive stuff, snappy sounds if you want backgrounds and an atmosphere, or create some Foley even. So it's a really versatile instrument. And lastly, the Desmodus is our reverb. So you may think of reverb as a way to emulate spaces like a hall or a stadium, but Desmodus is a sound design tool first and foremost. It's not a room emulator. It has 3 reverb algorithms. There's a clean reverb, a distorted reverb, and a pitch shifting shimmer. And one of the things that makes Desmodus really unique is the feedback parameter, which is called regen. 100% feedback is halfway through that parameter. And as you go past that, you start to get into infinite reverbs. If you crank that parameter all the way up, the reverb tail starts to duck based on input sound, so you can have your reverb dynamically react to the sounds that are going into it. There are also different automation modes. And again, this is based on a Eurorack module, so even though it's a reverb, it's designed to be automated and played like an instrument. So if you want reverb that has its own character and can really be an element in your project by itself, Desmodus is definitely for you.
Okay, I want to thank Marcus for that really great overview of the 3 new noise engineering plugins. So we've got Basimilis Iteritas, Cursus Vario, and of course, a really great reverb in Desmodus. So what I'd like to do right now is give you a quick little tour, and so you can actually see them and hear them, and just show them off a little bit. So here goes. So I've got a Pro Tools session up here. We're in my studio. This is actually a remix that I've started working on for an artist, and I'm not that far into it yet, so I'm kind of building up some drums. So this is what I've got right now, just using some of my normal drum pattern building tools. So let's see what we got. All right, pretty cool. I really like what's going on there, but I figured, since we're going to show off some of the new noise engineering stuff in AAX plugins, let's go ahead and switch some stuff out. So I'm going to go ahead and take this kick out of the track, and this is it without the kick. So let's go ahead and use Basimilis Iteritas, the plugin. I want to pull it up right here, and I already have my 4 on the floor ready to go. And this is just the default, configuration for the plugin. Actually, before I do that, let me just jump in and show you a couple of things, give you a quick tour. Now, with the 3 plugins, whether it's Basimilis Iteritas, whether it's Cursus Vario, or Desmodus, they all kind of have this very unique kind of a simple look. I really love it. Of course, like I mentioned, I'm a huge fan of noise engineering, and I love their design language. So some of that is different in the plugins, but it's still very simple, very minimal, and I love it. And of course, looks great against Pro Tools Dark Mode. So a couple of pages just to really quickly walk you through it. So this is your main page. So on Basimilis, this is your tone page. This is where most of the work happens. And then the second page here is the preset page. If you want to load a preset, you can just click load here, load them up. You can save them here. Of course, if you want to save them in your Pro Tools session, you can do that right up here in the AAX shell. Now, the last page is the configuration page. Now, depending on the plugin, each plugin will have its own set of configuration tools. So you have things like polyphony. In the case of BI, you've got tuning, a couple different things you can do as far as resampling. All the plugins feature some of the same tools, which include how the plugins load and look. So, for instance, you can see here that we've got color. So right now I've got this set to fire. If I wanted to change the coloring, I would just click on the next option, which is ice. Plant is kind of the green. That's the one I normally use for Desmodus. And then gray. So let's go ahead and leave this one as fire. And then you can also actually resize your plugin. So they'll default to medium. You can have them go really kind of large and small. I'm going to go ahead and leave this one in medium. And then fire. This is kind of really cool function that all of the noise engineering plugins have. So if I leave the fire on none, if I come back over to tone and I start adjusting any of the parameters, they just adjust. They look pretty normal, pretty simple, and I actually really like that view. But of course, if I go back here to the config page, if I turn on fire, you can already see that the UI starts doing some crazy stuff. Now remember, Noise Engineering, really cool, unique company, and this just goes to show you that they're really into building some really interesting tools for folks. So for the sake of the demo, I'm actually going to go ahead and turn that off. I actually really like using it when I'm actually working, but just so I make it a little bit easier for you guys to follow, let's go ahead and leave that on. So I leave that off rather. So we're back in the session, and let's go ahead and use just the default tone that Basimilus loads with to see what happens when we bring that into the session and replace our kick. So let's go ahead and loop this out a few times. That makes that really easy, and let's give it a listen. Nice. Let's turn that up a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and start adjusting some of the parameters just so you can get a quick feel for it. So bring the attack down. You can hear it's kind of crunching a little bit now, really nicely. Longer on the decay. And let's go ahead and actually solo that so we can hear that a little bit more. Let's go ahead and just loop that. So you can hear that little kind of like a bit crush happening on the kick. Very nice. Let's spread the harmonics out a bit, add some more harmonics. Now we've got some body on top and spread it out. Oh, nice. So of course we can get really crazy really quickly. You can fold that. You can hear what happens there. Oh, now we're getting into like gabber, really distorted kick. Really, really nice. So you can see it's really easy to dial stuff in. Of course, I can always randomize it and see what it does. But let's just go back to the default. Oh, nice and punchy. Let's bring the decay down a little bit. All right, let's hear that in the track. Nice. Now we've got this really nice punchy kick, courtesy of Basimilus Iteritas. Now, let's move on to the next plugin, and that is going to be Cursus Verior. So I've got a synth line here that I've kind of been playing around with in another plugin, and I thought, let's go ahead and bring it into CV and see what we can get out of it. So let me go ahead and quickly just play that soloed so you can get an idea. All right, now we'll add the rest of the track to it. All right, we'll quantize that using real-time properties. There we go. So again, that's actually the default tone that loads with the plugin. Now, again, what's really great here, because I'm not using an actual module in my Eurorack kit, I can actually really easily have this be polyphonic. So obviously I'm playing chords there, and it's really easy to use a plugin almost as if I had it in my Eurorack, but now I'm able to have the freedom of using MIDI, having polyphony. That's great. So let's go ahead and just play this back, and we'll just mess around a bit. You can give a listen. Actually, let's go ahead and randomize this as well and see what we get. That's kind of cool. So we'll go back to default, and let's just go ahead and tune it up a little bit, and I'm sure we can find something that suits this track a little bit more. So really easy. Let's just go ahead and play around a little bit. We'll leave it looping in Pro Tools. Now here's the ADSR section. Very similar, very familiar. If you're familiar with any type of synthesis at all, you already know how to operate that. So It almost has a nice little ducking effect. So we'll go ahead and leave that in there like that. Let's turn up the center a little bit. Oh, nice. All right, let's go ahead and pull the entire track in. Now, I really like what's happening there. Now, of course, every parameter you have here, remember, it's all automatable. So if I need to automate anything, I can simply go to my automation window and just select what I want to automate. So in this case, let's go ahead and go with the width. So I just click width, add it, and now it's available if I want to automate that right here in the plugin. It's just one of the ways I can automate, and I like to draw in a lot of my automation when I'm kind of done with the arrangement. So, and there it is. Now I've got my width, and I can simply just go in and let's just do a couple of really simple line. So we'll go up and we'll go down, and let's see what we got. Nice. So that's a really quick look and listen of Cursus Varior. Now, of course, we also have Desmodus, really amazing reverb. And I've just got it added here underneath the CV. And I'm just going to go ahead and unbypass it, and let's see what we've got. So again, you can already see that they're very familiar GUI and UI functionality across the plugins. Makes it really easy to kind of use multiple versions of them and get in and out. So let's go ahead and unbypass it. Oh, I can already hear it generating. Let's see what we got. Let's go ahead and solo that. And here we go. Now I'll bring the blend down. And let's go ahead and we'll start turning the regen down, and then we'll start adding the blend back in. And then extended the regen. Now, of course, we can affect the time of the reverb. So let's go all the way down and start extending it. Gorgeous. Listen to that. Oh, this thing is so much fun. So much creative fun. So, of course, remember, everything here is also automatable and just makes it really easy to get in, create some really dynamic and really cool effects, whether you're sound designing, whether you're working on music, whatever it might be. So that's a really quick overview of Basimilus Iteritas, Cursus Varior, and Desmodus from Noise Engineering. So I'm in love with these plugins. I think they're absolutely amazing. I cannot wait for you all to get your hands on them. Now, the folks at Noise Engineering have been actually testing these for a while, and they've got some really amazing friends and artists who have been using these plugins and checking them out. So take a look at some of the folks who have some really nice things to say about Noise Engineering and these plugins. right, I hope you enjoyed that demo. Really amazing plugins. I've actually been using them for quite a while. I'm a huge fan of noise engineering, and these plugins are absolutely amazing. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope that gave you a better look and sound of the plugins. So guys, obviously these plugins are in a sense linked to their hardware counterparts. What makes them unique or different in a plugin setting?
So all of the plugins are based off of core synthesis algorithms that are used in our hardware. Once they're in the software world, there are a ton of advantages for using them as plugins, such as polyphony, very hard to do in hardware. We do have a case with 8 basimuluses in it, but that's pretty extreme. Being able to actually have multiple instances kind of riff on polyphony in some sense. We've had one of our testers have a session with 96 basimuluses in it as a test, but that would be pretty expensive if you try to do that with hardware. All of the parameters were built in the hardware to be modulated with CV, and so that translates just beautifully to automation, which is actually a real benefit of coming from hardware, since that really is the norm. And then integration with MIDI allows users to connect any controller they want to the parameters, which is also really quite useful for performance, for just playing, which is the fun part. So that's a quick breakdown of the differences.
Okay, guys, so we've got these 3 amazing plugins that you've now introduced and talked about. We've demoed them. I'm a huge fan of what you guys are doing, both on the hardware and on the software level. So this is just absolutely amazing. But, it's one thing for me to be able to get my hands on them. I'm very lucky. When can everybody else get their hands on these 3 amazing plugins?
We are so excited to announce that as of today, the 3 plugins that we talked about today are available as an Avid exclusive, AX only, on the Avid store. So you can go get them right now. They're $49 each, or available at a discount if you buy all 3 in the bundle. And we have something close to 20 more plugins in the pipeline. So, keep coming back, keep looking for more, because we've got plans.
Wow. So let me just get that straight. So the 3 plugins are available. They're live right now at the Avid Marketplace, shop.avid.com. They're exclusive to Pro Tools, to Avid and Pro Tools for a couple of months, for a few months, which is amazing. So the only DAW you're actually going to be able to use these in right now is Pro Tools. So they're available, $49 a piece, available all 3 together at a discounted price. I don't know why people are still hanging out here. Go and check these out. These are absolutely amazing. Again, I'm a huge fan. You've already heard a couple of these actually in a couple of my productions from last year. Didn't mention anything, but now you can go back and actually check some of that out. And then I'm just really excited, and we're so grateful and thankful to you guys, Chris, Stephen, Marcus. Thank you very, very, very much. We look forward to hearing what everybody's gonna come up with these amazing plugins, and we look forward to what's to come down the line. Thank you guys so much.